Hello, Lena.
Ooh, I'm so excited about today, about listening all these amazing stories. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, I'm ready to share my story.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
You too,
Hey,
guys.
Jimmy.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all here, and I hope that everyone is quite excited to share their story, and so then we can inspire others to just give it a go. Yeah, it's like we say, it's just 6 months that can change everyone's quality of life. So why not? And hopefully, then our stories can give them hope that they can become one as well.
Before we kick off, I'm sure that even Jimmy, I'm gonna use Jimmy as the guinea pig. Probably is the oldest one in terms of Zinzino years, and even Jimmy, I'm sure that when he started this journey, he had to go through the discovery journey of, does this really works? Is it as good as they say? And then we kind of go through the motions of experiencing, and then we all develop our story. But it just makes it so interesting that we all different, because we all came into this journey with different reasons and different challenges in our health. But then we are all meeting at the same place, which is the end product, which is better life, more energy, we feel more alive, we have less pain or no pain, we have a 3-to-1 or even lower ratios, and that's the end product. It doesn't matter where we come from, but that's the end product, and that's what we should be aiming, and inspire other people to really think we can get there. That's it, that's my intro. So who would like to go first? Let's do it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Donna from Ontario, Canada. In the winter of 2022, I was over 300 pounds, and most mornings I was so stiff and exhausted, I could barely get through a couple of hours of work. I started looking seriously at my overall wellness, and at the end of April, I added Zinzino balance oil and then a few other products to my daily routine as part of those changes. My first balance test was 24-to-1. Over time, my energy and mobility really shifted. I've released over 100 pounds. I can comfortably serve my clients again. And the best part is I'm able to toboggan and bounce on the trampoline with my grandchildren. Oh, and my latest balance test, 2.3-to-1. I am so grateful for Zinzino.
Wow, thank you, Donna. I could talk about you for a long time, but we have to move on. But your story, especially when we meet you and everything else that you already shared, is incredible. But thank you so much.
My name is Jimmy, and I was actually growing up with a heart disease. When I was 2.5 years old, I was in a big hospital in Copenhagen, and the doctor said that I would not live so long, actually. So it was very, very hard for me. I was operated 4 times, and one of the times I was dead for 60 seconds. And luckily, I'm alive today, but the doctor said it was a miracle that I should at one point have a new heart or pacemaker and would not be so old. And luckily to me, I met Zinzino in 2012, and I started first on the balance oil, and some of my heart flimmer disappeared. And actually 1.5 years ago, I was on a CT scanner for the 3rd time, and my doctor looked at me and said, "Jimmy, what have you done? You look like 23 years old inside of your heart. Your scar tissue is gone and your heart is functional like normally." So thanks to Zinzino. And actually today I'm 1.8-to-1 today. And I didn't have taken the first test, so sorry, I want to be honest here, when I started, but it's really saved my life. And I think, like Donna said, I feel like 20 years old, running around with my kids, also on trampolines, and I feel like Superman today. So thank you, Zinzino.
Thank you, Jimmy. Everyone gets so really inspired by your story and by your journey. So thank you.
So my name is Ulrika, and my story is not as spectacular as the previous ones, but still, the just the feeling of feeling great. And I'm 53 today, and I feel like I'm 20. And I only started in when did I start? May this year, and my first test was 6-to-1. And I actually tested myself just shy of 4 months, and down to 2.7-to-1. and I had a little bit of knee pain and things like that before. That's gone. And my brain fog has gone, and just generally feeling absolutely fantastic. And yes, another note, I had a client today, customer today, that I got the result for the second test. She started with 26-1 in June, and now she's down to 3-1.
Oh.
So that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, very happy with that.
You know, you said that your story is not as spectacular as everyone else, but there's a lot of people like you, a lot of people out there like you, so it doesn't matter. Your story is a story, and it's so compelling and so important, because a lot of people like you can be helped even with the score that you had and the transformations that you felt. So thank you so much for sharing.
My name's Ken. I started with Zinzino 13 months ago. I tested 37-1. My second test was 5.6-1. I'm ready for another test, but I haven't done it yet. But I have many things going on. I have pulmonary fibrosis and prostate cancer. I am in the United States right now seeing my doctors. And when I walk in to see my doctors, they're wondering what I'm doing, because of the coloring's back in my face. I'm just feeling so much better. I have vitiligo. It's almost gone. Floater in my right eye. It's gone. Hand pain that I have experienced for a long time is basically gone. My doctors are so pleased. I'm overall very much energized. I sleep better. There's just all kinds of great things that are happening to me. It's things that I never really expected to have happen. And I'm very grateful for it. My wife, Amber, and I are both on the products, and we just are both feeling so much better.
Thank you, Ken. And still remember the first day that I met you. This was way before you started taking the Zinzino products. And I got a bit overwhelmed by your skin color. And looking at you today, the changes that I've witnessed, and I've been with you quite a lot since then, it's remarkable. And I know you've done a lot of changes along the way, not just in Zinzino products. Your diet has changed, your habits have changed, but to see the transformation, it's incredible. So I think a lot is also to do with Zinzino, along all the other stuff that you are doing with the help of many people around you. They want the best for you. Thank you so much.
Hi everybody. So my story, I discovered Zinzino when I was 46, so 2 years ago. I had really stiff and sore joints in my hands and my fingers, and a lot of stiffness in my hips. When I got out of bed in the morning, I felt slow to get moving, just from the pain in my hips. I started on balance oil. My first test, I was 20-1. Within 3 weeks of taking the balance oil every day, my hands felt great. Like I could hardly remember the pain and stiffness that I had before. It was completely gone. It took a little longer for my hips to loosen up and feel good, only maybe another 2 weeks. So all that stiffness and pain is completely gone. Another product that I now use daily is Viva Plus. I used to use Viva for when I felt overwhelmed. I have 2 young children. After school, making dinner, the kids around, I could get a little bit worked up. I'd take 2 Viva as needed, and I just felt calm. I felt like myself. I felt like I, can just get on with things. Then I started experiencing what I call temperature instability. Some people, refer to it as hot flashes, but I was hot and cold at night. I was hot 10 to 12 times a day. And I was looking at other things, and then one of our partners reminded me, well, are you taking your Viva every day? And I said, no, I just take it as needed for overwhelm. And then I started taking my Viva every day, and I feel great. I sleep through the night. I no longer have temperature instability. I'm no longer having hot flashes. So love that product as well. And just very quickly, the story of my son. He's now 10. So when he was 8, he started on the balance oil. And within 3 weeks of being on the balance oil, my sister noticed a huge difference in him that I didn't notice because we live together and I see him every day. She saw such a difference in his personality that she actually thought we had medicated him with a pharmaceutical. He was a child who was a little bit anxious to go to school, a little bit shy, even with people he knew. He'd say hi from, the other room. And this one day she came over and he greeted her at the door. He hugged her. He followed us downstairs. He conversed with her, talked with us. She was so shocked at the change in his personality. And that was after being on balance oil for 3 weeks. His first test was 37-1. His second test was 6-1, and his third test, he's at 4.3-1. I realized I forgot to mention my second test was, I think, 4 point something to 1. So those are my stories. I have a customer who suffered from irritable bowel syndrome, and whenever she traveled somewhere tropical, it would act up and flare up. Being on the balance oil, she went to, I believe it was Roatan, for a month and came back telling me that she had no issues with her bowels. And she also swears that the quality of her hair has improved as well, being on the balance oil. So I'll stop there. Many more customer stories, but I'll stop and let everyone else have a turn. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alison, and thank you so much for sharing and putting all that together. Anyway, Donna, I would like to go back to you because you said that you also have your mother's story to share. So if you don't mind, that'll be great.
Early in 2022, my mom was on a list of daily prescriptions, and we were quietly starting to talk about assisted living options. That May, we decided something had to change, so we focused on her overall wellness and added Zinzino products into her daily routine. Her first test was 36-1. Fast forward to now. She's 84, still in her own home, back to her weekly community outings, and her doctor is really happy with how she's doing. Her latest test, 3.2-1. Seeing her more engaged and more like herself again has been the biggest gift for our family.
Thank you, Donna. Your mom's story is always so inspiring. So thank you for sharing.
My name is Evelyn, and my story is about my daughter who got a redness on her chin and her body when she was only 2 weeks old. And the doctors prescribed creams with antibiotics for her to use. And then it only got worse and worse as she grew older. At one point, her skin was so damaged, it was all scars and blood, and so thin that I could see the flashlight through her arm. And she tested 57-1 first time. And she was in so much pain. And we met Zinzino back in 2019. And because her body has been through antibiotics for so long, she really had to restore it. So we met Zinzino, and she started on the balance oil and the xenobiotic. And today you would never say at 7 years old that her skin was so damaged. Thank you.
Evelyn, I've never heard your story. This is the first time that I'm actually listening to your story. So thank you, and please don't go shy in sharing that story because you can inspire so many other parents in similar situations and other people. So yeah, thank you. I'm going to share with you a story, but I'm going to put it out as a message and you'll be able to listen to it.
My name's Angie, and I was just going to give a little testimony really about how the Zinzino products have helped me get my life back really. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia quite a long time ago, over 15 years ago, which is like ME with lots of pain in muscles, along with migraines and lots of food intolerances. And I also ended up with hip impingements, which were extremely painful and prevented me from rotating my legs properly, going in and out of cars, etc. was very, very painful. So I started on the balance oil a few years ago, and within a few months, I noticed a significant difference in my pain levels. I stopped getting aches and pains when the weather changed. So when it was damp and cold, I would really struggle, and that all stopped. My hip pain, even though I still have hip impingements, there's no swelling there anymore, and I'm not in constant pain, so I can walk freely. I used to work every other day, basically, and have to have a day to rest in between. I don't do that now. I actually have 2 jobs now. I work full-time, if not more than full-time. I'm just actually on a 24-hour shift at the moment, and that would not have been possible years ago. I now have lots more energy. I don't get migraines anymore. Yeah, and also my food intolerances have reduced, so I can actually eat a few more things that I was unable to eat previously. So my gut microbiome has been sorted out. So overall, I feel very blessed that I found Zinzino, and I still take the products religiously. I never skip a day, and it's given me my life back. It's enabled me to work more, and I can provide for my family better. So yeah, really grateful.
So yeah, so there's another great testimony, and actually I know Angie, and I know what she went through, especially in terms of gut. This is the type of person that would go to a restaurant and she would ask for a bowl of veg stock and put some vegetables, and that's as far as she could go. She could eat anything else. And thanks to the balanced oil, thanks to the xenobiotics, she gradually managed to add a few more things, and now she can have proper meals. She's still, struggling with a lot of stuff, but the change has been dramatic, has been so big. So definitely another testimony. Okay, and in line with the gut issues, maybe Patricia, you might want to share your story regarding your gut.
Hi everyone, my name is Patricia. I live in Portugal. At the time that I met Zinzino, I was an ops manager, so always on the road, just eating what you can, but always very considerate of what to eat, and being very active, exercise. And then suddenly, out of the blue, the things start happening. The foods was not agreeing with me, so I couldn't eat things. I was in a lot of pain, became intolerant to pretty much everything. I couldn't pinpoint what was actually wrong. At that time as well, I was already expressing arthritis on my hands, and my brain, my memory was not what it used to be. So I was getting concerned with that. And there was the right moment then to do my test. I was very curious to find out, despite everything that I was doing, if I actually had that imbalance, and I was a 9 to 1. And then I started on the health protocol. I took the 3. I decided to take the 3 products, and in the first 2 weeks, I was for the first time just hearing my tummy a lot, but without pain that I didn't have for a long time, and that was a blessing. And then after 2 months, I could eat things without having an issue, which was amazing. And then at around that time, 2 months as well, my pains of arthritis that need to just turn all my joints was gone. I didn't have that pain any longer. And around 6 months for me was the energy levels, and then all the mind shift. And my second test was a 3 to 1. So it changed totally my mindset. I was able then to function properly to work, and it was just a blessing at that moment in time.
Thank you, Patricia. And one thing that we can actually see in common between all of us that already shared the story is that there's a first test that usually the ratio tends to be much higher than a 3 to 1. And now we are actually looking, when people mention about the second test, it's if it's not 3 to 1, it's very close, or it actually can go below 3 to 1. And that's a direct correlation to how we actually feel. And the stories that we're sharing is actually exactly that, the reflection of that same ratio.
Hello, I'm Milena from Denmark, Copenhagen, and I have had like a bronchitis and pneumonia since I was a little girl. And in December 21, it expanded to a chronic pneumonia. So I have had since December 21st, 21, several, like 5, 6, 7 times a year, which I have had to have penicillin all the time, and I was sick a lot from my work and everything. So I met Zinzino in November 23, I think. Yeah, 23. And my numbers were, my tests were 26 to 1. And after 4 months, I was 15 to 1. And after, 4 months more, I was 2.9 to 1. I could feel around in the first month, I could feel a huge difference in my symptoms. So I still got sick, but was slow, like better and better and better. So now I have been free from any kind of medication for over a year, and I haven't had ammonia for like half a year or something like that at all. So I take my Balansol every day, and the whole protocol, actually. I never skipped a day, and I'm really, really glad to have met Zinzino. So it's the best thing that could have happened to me. So
Thank you, Milena. Incredible story. Thanks for being here tonight with us and sharing that with
welcome.
everyone.
Can I also tell my mom's story?
Yeah.
Very quick. Yeah, she's 71, and she has also been on oil for 2 years, and I live on the 4th floor, and she with no elevator. So she was always complaining when am I going to move a little down so she can come and visit. And so she always like has pain in her knees, and yeah, she has been also taking her oil every day. And like a couple of weeks ago, she had my 4-year-old daughter on her shoulders and walked the whole way up to the 4th floor with no problems at all. So no pain in the knees anymore.
Thank you, Milena.
Yeah.
And it's incredible because I think when we get to certain type of illnesses or conditions, we think that maybe this will carry with me for the rest of my life. And then we think that there's no way out because you already tried so many different things and you think there's no way out, and suddenly you find something that helps you. So I think what Zinzino calls like inspired change in life, I think it's exactly that, because it brings so much more inspiration to live life in a different way. So Milena, thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate it.
Hey, so from Denmark as well. So I have a different story. So mine is it's a skin issue. So some years ago, I was embarrassed to talk to people. I was very much at home. Didn't like to go out and be social because I looked I looked like an old lady. I had so much skin underneath my eyes that I could pull it out, like almost a centimeter out from my head. So I think I looked like 10 or 15 years older than I was. So I have been on the health protocol, and I've been using the skin serum as well. I asked for an operation because I thought it was very bad. That would cost me 3,000 euros to get that skin removed. I have not done that. I have just been using my products, and I have actually very tight skin today. So I'm happy. And now I'm talking to you, and I'm doing the same thing in Denmark, and I am on the stage and presenting. So everything is working out great.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, your skin looks great. So it definitely worked. So well done.
Hello, I'm Keith from Sydney, Australia, and I'm in perfect health. Apparently, I have no medical history at all. I'm so healthy. Down below, underneath, it was a very different story. It was like World War III every time I went to the toilet. And so, less than a year ago, I started on the Balansol and the prebiotic, And literally overnight, no more deodorant in the toilet, no more long stays in the toilet. My friends used to call out search parties for me. I was in there so long. I didn't come out of the toilet exhausted. I was normally healthy. My balance test was, I think, 11 to 1. And then 4 months later, it was 2.9 to 1. So, Zinzino, you're fantastic. You changed my life down below, which obviously affects everything else in the body and the mind.
Thank you, Keith. Very quickly, I remember one day after you started taking the xenobiotic, we spoke and you said, Ricky, I'm blown away by this. I feel so great. I said, yeah, right. Come on, Keith. It's just one day. You know, it's not like that. Let's talk in 1 week's time. And then 1 week later, he said, Ricky, the same thing. The best, the best. I've never felt like this. So it's so good to hear
I
your
had a
story.
20-year
It's really amazing.
problem that was literally gone with the wind.
Yeah. Oh, you crack me. Anyway, so thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Any final stories?
Okay, I can share my story.
Hey, Joanna.
So my name is Joanna. I'm from Poland, but I live in UK, in Bristol. So all of my life I was struggling with sinuses problem, chronic inflammation of my sinuses. So all of the traveling was really annoying, always on antibiotics, steroids. 2023 was the worst. So I did my first test on that time, was 30 to 1, so quite high. But then I had the answer what happened. So since that I am on a health protocol, so I'm taking balance oil and xenobiotic Viva and Extend and spirulina, of course, and collagen. So I'm taking really everything. Since that I not really have any problems with my sinuses. I can traveling in the plane and not taking any medication from that. I even canceled my surgery 3 months ago, which they recommend for my sinuses, but I don't need any more. So thanks for Zinzino, it helps me a lot of that. And my second test after 6 months, which I did, was 6 to 1. So I really need to do my third one, but I think so it's even less now.
Thank you, Joanna. Thanks for sharing. I'll go and I'll tell my story. My story is more structural. It's more about knee. I dislocated my knee around, I think it was 5 years ago, and I pretty much destroyed everything. My patella got broken, all my ligaments, everything. It was a mess, car crash, and this was playing squash. So it was self-inflicted, by the way. And then big surgery. They had to reconstruct all the ligaments, remove all the broken bones, and the doctor said to a very athletic sports guy, you won't be able to do anything ever again. You'll be able to walk, but that's as far as you can go. And that was the reality 1 year later. I was still limping, I was struggling big time, but you know, I met Jimmy, met Zinzino, started taking the health protocol. 1 year later, it's when magic started happening, and I started feeling more active, I started feeling stronger, and then I would say 6 months later, so 1.5 years later, I was able to carry on doing the things I was doing before, playing tennis, squash, paddle, running, cycling. Now I carry on teaching fitness classes, body pump, body balance, yoga, whatever, you name it, I can do everything. And the great thing about teaching is that I can measure my energy levels very well. And I can see that now at 50 years old, I feel so much stronger and I recover so much faster compared to when I was 25, 30 years old. And that for me, it completely blows my mind. How can I at this age feel so much better than when I was, well, at the peak, as I should be as an athlete, even as an amateur, but it doesn't matter. So that's my story.
I wanted to share a client story, and I like the story because it has a measurable result. So she came to me specifically, she has a rare cancer, an eye cancer, and so she is working with some of the top integrative oncologists, nutritionists, professionals in the world. She has her team together, and she said, Bridget, I respect you. Can you just look at my protocols, look at my supplements, my nutrition, everything, and just let me know if everything's good, let me know if I'm missing anything. So I looked over it, and the reason why she was asking my opinion is because she was concerned, because she was doing all the right things, and following all the recommendations, eating perfectly, fasting, supplements, everything, and her tumor was getting bigger. It was growing, so she's worried. And I looked at everything, and everything actually looked good. And I said, but you're missing omega-3. Let's get you tested, and let's get you started on the balance oil immediately. So she had just tested her tumor size, and she was scheduled to go to Switzerland to do it's proton beam therapy. It's basically a better version of radiation. Thousands and thousands of euros to do something like that, right? Go to Switzerland. So a month later, so she's on the balance oil for 4 weeks before she gets there. So just before she does the proton beam therapy, they measure the tumor size. In 4 weeks, the tumor that was growing has now shrunk by 9%. She has the proton beam therapy, and she had more results from the balance oil in 4 weeks than she did from that procedure.
Wow.
Yeah. And Sandy has a testimony. You want to share yours? He couldn't get his A1C down. And if you know my husband, it's like tough for him not to eat carbs. Like he literally will die if he doesn't eat carbs. And so he was trying everything. He was trying berberine, supplements, cutting out sugar, like everything. He couldn't get his A1C down. The balance oil, 90 days, dropped his A1C down to normal range. That was the only thing he changed. Yeah.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Sandy.
In June, I talked to a couple that he's in construction and was having real problems because his hands were so sore and stiff, and he was always tired, and he's a seasonal worker, so he needed to have energy. We went back, or I went back to their place last week so that they could do their second test, because it's been 4 months. And he happily reported that this summer has been the easiest summer he's had working in 10 years. And he feels so much better because his knees aren't hurting, his joints aren't hurting, and he was able to work through the whole season without having to take any time off.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, so I just want to finish with one final story, and actually it's my dad's story. And the only reason I want to share his story is because there's a mix of making a decision of embarking the journey, and then bring the stubbornness of stopping taking the protocol because he thinks it's so good that he doesn't need to take it, and then suffering the consequences of going back to having a lot of inflammation and developing more issues. So my dad started taking the health protocol. I think he did more to do me a favor than anything else, but 1 month later he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and the PSA levels were quite high, to the point that the doctor said you need to have surgery quite soon. And my dad refused to have surgery, not because he was taking the health protocol, but because he had a hotel, he could not get out of the hotel to have surgery, it would mess up his life, and he was like, if I die, I die, I don't care. So he decided I'm not going to have surgery, I'm going to just take these supplements, see where it takes me. And then the doctor said, come back in 6 months, let's see where the levels are. And then he went back and the levels were really down, and the doctor was like, I don't know what you're doing, but carry on doing, come back 6 months later again, and that will be 1 entire year. And when he went back 1 year later, there was nothing there. So the doctor was really happy, no surgery, no need, no cancer, move on. So my dad carried on taking the health protocol, I would say 2.5 years. And then he stopped, and I didn't know that, but I managed to look into his account, and I look at it and like, oh, my dad hasn't been taking, wow, for a year. So I called him, I said, Dad, why did you take? I know, I was feeling so good, I didn't need. Okay, great. Do you want it? No, I'm okay. And then a few months later, he called me and he said he had lung cancer. Okay, so he had to have surgery straight away. Luckily, they managed to remove it because it was quite isolated. But the first thing that he said was, please sign me up on the products again. Okay, so again, I think it's just a good example of the trajectory that we might go through of inflammation, no inflammation, inflammation, and yeah. So I think that's a good story.
I would like to share client story. So basically, she has a son, and the son is now probably around 12 years old, and is autist. So basically, she's been trying everything, and she tried a few omega-3 before, and someone told her about Zinzino. Was not even me, it was someone else that told her about Zinzino, and she knew that I already spoke with her about Zinzino. So she came to me and she asked about Zinzino. I explained to her, and she was going to even do the test, but then she decided to try before, and she did. She's been the son is taking for 3 months now, and the mom, and the other day she was saying that the kid is doing so well. She noticed the other marks, the other brands that he tried, she never seen a big result. And now with Zinzino in the 2-3 months, she was saying that was amazing, that she was so happy because he's calmer. He's also more social, so he actually says good morning to people now. She's just amazed how quick the kid is changing, good change. So she's very happy with that. That's the story I would like to share, is that 2-3 months, and she tried so many brands before and they never had the impact. And with Zinzino, in 2-3 months, she's amazed.
Thank you so much, Jules. Really appreciate you being here tonight and sharing with us. And you know, we all know that we don't make any claims. We don't say that the Zinzino products will cure this and that. We don't need to do that. What we know is that Zinzino products, especially the balance oil, helps in the regeneration of our cells, cell membrane, and then we allow that to do the rest of the work. And the stories, I think, speak higher than any other comment that we could make. So I think we've heard quite a lot of great stories tonight. We will finish here tonight, but it has been amazing, has been great seeing so many of you and being open to really share. And hopefully we'll be able to do this more often. We'll bring more stories from our customers, and yeah, maybe we could do this every 2 months, 3 months, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of stories to share that will amaze us, every single one of us, okay? Because in the end of the day, we are here to inspire a changing life, and I think we experienced just that in the last 45 minutes. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate. Have a lovely evening, lovely afternoon or morning, whatever you are in the world, and we'll see you very soon, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.